Sports Center.
The Bengals took a major step towards keeping the franchise in downtown Cincy. I'm Chris Smith. The Hamilton Commissioners approved the tentative framework for a $470 million agreement that will keep the Bengals in their current home at Paycor Stadium through at least 2036. On to the NBA, where the Mavericks took forward Cooper Flagg with the first pick in the 2025 NBA draft on Wednesday. And Chris Canty, host of ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, says Dallas are now the biggest threat to the Thunder.
The Thunder have good size, but the Thunder aren't a great rebounding team. They are an outstanding defensive team. I think the Dallas Mavs are going to be one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball next season. But the biggest question is whether or not the Dallas Mavericks are going to disqualify themselves before Kyrie Irving comes back next season. But if they're in the postseason and Kyrie Irving is healthy, the Dallas Mavericks can give anybody a scare in the Western Conference.
Dallas will pick first in the second round of the draft. Coverage begins 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, 8 on ESPN. Shams also reporting that the Nets are trading the number 36 pick in tonight's draft of the Suns for 2 future round second picks. Phoenix now owns picks 36.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Friday as NBA teams get ready for free agency. I'll tell you why the Bucks need to get their offseason right if they don't want to lose Giannis. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Welcome aboard a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Crew's going to look a little bit different. Today, I am your host, Taylor Sharp.
I didn't know if you were going to do this or not. Let's see.
Back.
All right, here we go.
We got Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the man that just messed it up, we got Mr. Jacob Beck. Okay, wait, what is your drop?
It's the song "Loser" by Beck.
Okay, I was going to ask, is that by the band Beck? Okay,
yes,
that makes sense. Okay, you got me, Paul O'Neill, Jacob Beck. Have never had this combination here on AFR. Look, obviously, I fill in on the morning show all the time whenever those fellows are out. I fill in for Hunt quite frequently. Only done this show one other time. It was last summer. And Paul, we'll see if we have breaking news. Last time I hosted this show, the Pelicans traded for DeJounte Murray mid-show. And we had to break that on the air. That was the last time I had hosted this. It was about this time last year. I think it was the week before the NBA draft. So we are there. Let me tell you why we're here. Okay. Everyone in this building is off this week. Cassie Spazzali is Hunt Palmer's video producer. She's out all week. Cassie's sister, Jessie, does post-production for us. She works remotely. She's out all week as well because they're on a family vacation. Our guy, Matt Musso, he's out all week, not back till Tuesday. Moscona, out today and tomorrow, out all next week. Cade Wazan, out tomorrow, all next week. Our engineer, Bo Wegman, out all next week. And for the next 2 days, Jordan Kitchens, out because he's going to be out at the Manning Passing Academy out there in Thibodaux. Did I miss anybody?
I think that's it.
That covers everybody?
I think so.
I love how every year they're like, okay, guys, we gotta spread out our vacations and make sure we're not all off on the same time.
Yeah.
And wouldn't you know it, guys, every single year we're all off at the same time.
This I think this just for some reason is the week that everybody took off for. Even my wife at her job, everybody is out of work this week as well for them. It's just the week to take off vacation, I think.
That's cool. Next time I want a memo because I want to be part of it.
Oh, yeah, let's just – what if we all just – I mean, what would we do, you know?
Me, Musso, and Cassie did all 3 shows the week of Christmas.
I remember that.
All 3.
Yeah.
And, now us 3 are the only ones not off, but, why am I always left out?
It's always you, Taylor.
That's what I want to know.
You always you got to do it.
Bro, it's a treacherous schedule. Okay, so for those wondering, I'm in for Matt next 3 days. So today, tomorrow, Monday, Musso is out. He'll be back Tuesday. He'll come in. Fill in Tuesday through the end of next week. I also have to fill in for Cade now do the commercial log. So if they are absolutely awful on Monday, you guys know who to blame. Okay, look, we got a lot to cover today. NBA draft was last night. The LSU celebration party at Alex Box Stadium occurred. We got Saints to talk. We got LSU football to talk. But right now, let's get it started like we do every day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
As I just mentioned, the 2025 NBA draft first round occurred last night, and your New Orleans Pelicans had not one but two picks. They had the 7th overall pick and the 23rd overall pick, which they did not make. We will get into that in a second. Look, the Pelicans could have went a lot of different ways, right? They got rid of Brandon Ingram. They just traded CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk. Like, it's a little bit of an overhaul so far under new GM Joe Dumars. A lot of people said, hey, you need a point guard. DeJounte Murray is going to be out for the foreseeable future because of his season-ending injury a year ago. You need a big. Zion's in and out of the lineup because he's overweight, slow, and, well, frankly, he's hurt all the time anyways. You could have went pretty much anywhere. Well, when Adam Silver, the commissioner, took to the mic yesterday with the 7th overall pick, here's what it sounded like. Maybe.
With the 7th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the New Orleans Pelicans select Jeremiah Fears from the University of Oklahoma.
Jeremiah Fears, they take the guard who played 1 year for the Sooners last year in the SEC, 6'4", ball dominant, just about as pure of a point guard as you can be. I personally love this pick. You needed a guard that can create, a guy that can take over a game. How's this for taking over a game for you? He led Oklahoma last year in points, assists, and steals. The guy can pretty much do it all. There was a game in the SEC tournament, and I can't remember who they played off the top of my head, but, you know, they're trailing big in that game. He scored 10 points by himself in the final minute and a half. Now, Oklahoma ultimately lost that game, but he gave them a shot. They took that game into overtime, and they did fall a little bit short, but this is a guy averaged a little over 17 points a game a year ago, 4.5 assists. I mentioned that he led the team in steals as well. He's just an efficient scorer. Shot 44% last year. Now, he's not a three-point shooter. We'll get into that a little bit later. The Pelicans still need a lot of three-point help. They did not do that with either of their first-round picks, but I tell you what they did do. You go look last year. And look, a lot went wrong for the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, well, they were a couple clutch free throws away from having a really good season. No, but you were 27 out of 30 teams last year in free throw percentage. It hovered around 72% as a team. You draft Jeremiah Fears, 85% last year at Oklahoma. So he's not a great outside shooter, but he can drive the lane. He puts the ball in the bucket with 17 points per game. He can get to the free throw line. He makes his free throws. He can distribute the ball, and he's a dang good defender as well, because I just mentioned earlier that he led the Sooners in steals. I think this was a really good pick. Again, the Pelicans could have went a lot of different ways. Unfortunately, it was a lot like the New Orleans Saints in the NFL draft, right? You could say it's almost impossible to screw up this pick because they kind of need everything. Well, that's what it was with the New Orleans Pelicans, but with 7th overall, you get a guy that is just a pure athlete. He will be your starting point guard day one with DeJounte Murray out because of that injury. Jose Alvarado will play that normal role. I absolutely love this pick. Beck, Paul, I know y'all follow this a decent amount as well. Y'all are both Pelicans fans. What did y'all make of this pick? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
Yeah, I liked it. Everybody was wondering, are they going to go which position are they going to go with first, guard or center? And Jeremiah Fears, they went guard here first, and I like the pick. I think I would prefer a guy like him if they're going to have to draft a guard that they're going to start, because you got Trey Murphy, who's a really good shooter. You got Herb Jones, who's developed into a pretty solid shooter from the outside. So you didn't need to go out and get a guy that was more so better at shooting as opposed to distributing the ball. And Jeremiah Fears, like you said, he's really good at attacking the rim. He's really good at driving the lane and making the right pass, making the right decision when he gets into the lane. So this is a good pick, I think, and like you said as well, he will probably start and he will get a lot of playing time, which is really good for a young player like him who was just a freshman coming out, so he's still really, really young and still has a lot of room to grow. So I like the pick.
Paul, we like it.
I do like the pick. I would have preferred to see him go big man first.
Yep.
But
a lot of people share that sentiment with you, for what it's worth.
You got a good amount of guards. I mean, you other than Yves Misi, you really don't have a big man at all. But I do think he'll start. I think he'll get. He's young, so I mean, he's got a lot to grow.
I believe he's the second youngest player in this draft.
Yeah.
So I mean, to your point, he's young, and that's kind of my big concern. Like, look, it is what it is. Can he develop under Willie Green? Because when Willie Green drafts these young guards, they've missed on a lot of them. Like Jordan Hawkins, we both expected him to do a lot more than he's done now. Like, he still has time. He's still a young player, but can this young guard develop under a Willie Green? Back to your point, though, like, if you're going to draft a guard, this is the kind I wanted. What did we talk about when they traded for DeJounte Murray? This guy is perfect to run your offense. He plays similar to DeJounte Murray. Now, Murray shoots a little bit better on the outside, but I think Fears drives the lane a little bit better. I think he can get to the free throw line a little bit better. Like, this is a guy that can run your offense from day one. I love the pick. Now, the New Orleans Pelicans weren't done. As a matter of fact, they were just getting started. So I mentioned they had the 7th pick. They also had the 23rd pick in the NBA draft. Well, it came out about 11 picks in that the Atlanta Hawks will not be getting whoever gets drafted 13th overall. That pick is going to the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, look, we're going to play the audio, but it's stupid the way they do it. Like, Silver has to go up there and say, the Atlanta Hawks pick whoever, and they're trading the rights to him. He even has to put on a Hawks hat, even though he's never going to play for them. It's stupid, but with the 13th pick, here's what it sounded like.
With the 13th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Atlanta Hawks select Derek Queen from the University of Maryland.
So the Pelicans get Derek Queen, the big man, the 6'10 forward out of Maryland. Some say he can play center. I think he's a lot more of a 4 now. He's a big body. He's 6'10". He's 246 pounds. If you remember Derek Queen, he kind of made a name for himself in that NCAA tournament. He hit one of the buzzer beaters in the early rounds to advance. The guy can play. 16.5 points per game, 9 rebounds a game. He's a pretty polished, for the most part, offensive player. His defense does need some work, though. But again, not a 3-point shooter, 20%. So he's going to be that 4 in your lineup in all likelihood. My biggest concern is on TV, all the analysts are up there breaking it down. Biggest question mark was conditioning. And you already have a guy that plays the 4 for you in New Orleans who's never in the lineup because he's out of shape and he's hurt all the time. So a little PTSD there for New Orleans Pelicans fans. Okay. I don't dislike the player, but I absolutely hate what you gave up for it. So you gave up the 23rd pick to move up to 13th. You also gave up your unprotected 2026 first-round pick. Meaning the New Orleans Pelicans can be awful this year, win the draft lottery, pick number 1 overall next year. That pick's going to the Atlanta Hawks. I think you gave up a lot to get this. One, I think Derek Queen maybe could have even been there at 23. Also, there were a lot of bigs you could have got. Now, if it works out 6-7 years down the road, no one's going to care what you gave up if you hit on this pick. And word was the Pelicans had him really high on their board. They didn't think he was going to be there at 13. Once his name popped up at 13, they said, hey, we got to jump up and go get this guy because we really like him. That's fine, but you better hit on it because the move you just made was a win now move. The problem is I don't think the Pelicans have the roster to win now. I don't think that's a hot take either. You better be good this year because if you're not good this year, you have no first-round pick, at least right now, in 2026. That's some problems for you. So, Beck, player first, just Derek Queen. If I told you Pelicans are getting Derek Queen, what is your reaction?
I like it just as much as I like the Jeremiah Fears pick. You again, like you said, he's got questions about his conditioning and whether or not he can hold up, especially in the NBA. It's going to be a lot harder. He's going to be he's going to be working a lot harder in the NBA than he was in college for the most part. So this is going to be another just another one of those things, man. Like you've already got, and then he's come to New Orleans. Like, look, Zion came to New Orleans, and he had a lot of, you could tell he had a lot of the really good food they have in New Orleans. Hopefully, Derek Queen can maybe stray away from going down that same path. But as a player, yes, he is a really good all around. He's not very laterally quick, so he may struggle to defend some of those longer guys in the NBA because. I agree with you as well. He's not going to be a guy that you're going to have at the 5. Maybe when you go up against smaller lineups, but he's 6'9", 6'9.5", 6'10", something like that. But he's bigger. He's not as quick as you would like to be guarding someone at the 4. So he's kind of a tweener in a bit of a way. So whether or not he can find a spot where he's going to be able to defend at a reasonable level is a question mark. But he is really good on the offensive side. He's going to provide you some good just depth in terms of being able to spread the floor because whenever Willie Green got here and a lot of the offensive philosophy with trying to spread the floor so that Zion has room to work. I don't know how that's going to work with Derek Queen on the floor because if you have Derek Queen and Zion on the floor at the same time, that may be a bit of a problem because they both play
They're kind of
down
the same
low.
player.
They kind of are. But he's a solid player, and I would like him I would really like him on the second unit. But you drafted a guy 13th. You're expecting him to play a lot of minutes. So and everything you said, we don't need to talk about the unprotected. That was not a good trade. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So but in terms of the player, he could be a solid NBA player. But again, it's just how are they going to fit him into the lineup is my question.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, we were talking about, hey, I think he's going to play more of the 4 than the 5. The good news is, even Messi quietly had a pretty good season a year ago. If he can take that second-year jump, even Messi's your starting 5 anyways. I'm good with taking a big 6'10 guy as long as it works out because you gave up a heck of a lot to get Derek Queen. Again, I don't hate the player. I hate the way you had to acquire this player. We'll see if it works out for the New Orleans Pelicans. They do have the 40th pick tonight in the second round. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And look, a lot of people are going to say, okay, well, you still need a little bit more shooting on the outside. You don't have a ton of guys that are great defenders. I get that, but here's what you did. You got younger. You got rid of Brandon Ingram. You essentially replace him with Derek Queen. Again, you gave up a ton to do that, but that's what you did. You move on from C.J. McCollum. You replace him with Jordan Poole. You got Sadiq Bey. Now, you needed to be younger in the backcourt as well. You got Jeremiah Fears. So you could say, okay, well, these were kind of players you already had. Yeah, but if you wanted to get younger and you wanted to build a young core, I think you're on your way to doing that. We'll see if it works out. But just a little bit of a recap. New Orleans Pelicans, they select Oklahoma guard Jeremiah Fears at 7 overall. They trade up from 23 to 13, and they take Derek Queen, the big man, out of the University of Maryland. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Alex Buck Stadium was packed last night due to a little championship celebration. We'll get into that a little bit, kind of put a button on baseball season. That's coming up next here on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you. But it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. It takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You know, one of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
Welcome back in, Thursday edition of After Further Review. Guys, I at some point, Beck knows this. At some point today, I'm going to say off the bench. Like, Beck knows this. This is happening. How many times do I fill in for Hunt and say OTB? Like, this is, and I fill in for Hunt way more than right here.
Yeah, you usually do it at least once.
I get take it or leave it and ask the bench confused.
Yeah.
Which is weird because they're not very similar.
No, not really.
But I get those confused. Last night at Alex Box Stadium, the fans packed it out, even after baseball season. So the LSU Tigers, Coach Jay Johnson, everybody in attendance last night. They did a little ceremony, trophy presentation, a celebration of the season, if you will. And at that ceremony, actually, Jay Johnson was named the 2025 NCAA Division I National Coach of the Year by the American Baseball Coaches Association. Yeah, duh, Jay Johnson's friggin' awesome. We'll get into him a little bit. Hunt Palmer on LouisianaSports.net, he put out his top 10 moments of the 2025 LSU baseball season, because there's been a lot, right? And a lot of shows across this station have talked about it all week long. Like, is there a defining moment in the season where you're going to look back on and say, hey, that's the moment where I knew this LSU baseball team could truly make a run at it? Because at the beginning of the season, your bullpen wasn't that great. It was kind of the offense that was carrying you. Then it kind of flipped a little bit, right? Your pitching was awesome. Your bats were struggling to come around. I mean, we talked about it in the SEC tournament. You scored 4 runs over a 2-day period. Like, that's not going to get it done. But when you got to the regional, everything was different. Game on the line, must-win game against Little Rock. Win, you advance to the Supers. Lose, you go home. And for me, that's the game. And I'll really give you 2 moments because they both involve Luis Hernandez. So we've talked about, like, in Hunt's write-up, he mentions Ethan Fry. And he mentions him really due to what he did in that Little Rock game. Hunt put, look, Little Rock seized control of the Baton Rouge Regional. If you remember, the Trojans were up 5-0 in the second inning. That lasted all the way up until the 4th. But with 2 outs and the bases loaded, Ethan Fry came up. He had a 3-run double that drew LSU within 1. The Tigers would score 6 runs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th. That gave LSU the lead. 3 runs in the 9th sealed it. And the Tigers actually went on to roll to advance to the Super Regional. So Ethan Fry certainly got things started. But for me, it's Luis Hernandez. He hits a home run in that game to really put it out of reach, in my opinion, for the Tigers. And then you go to the game against Arkansas, the one where you win, you advance to the CWS final, you lose, you got to play Arkansas again the next day. You're trailing in the 9th inning. Hernandez gets up there, and he hits one to left field. It's the one, everybody knows it. The left fielder dove out, tried to catch the ball. He missed it. It rolled past him. You scored 2 runs and tied the game. Now, I get it. Jared Jones came up. The next at bat had the walk-off, made it 6-5. You win that game. But when you tied it at 5, I can't speak for everyone. For me, that's when I knew LSU was going to win this game. I thought Arkansas was out of gas. I thought LSU had all the momentum. And we had seen the Tigers do it in the 9th inning multiple times before that. So when Hernandez gets up there and makes it 5-5, my only question was, okay, you going to win this thing in the 9th inning, or is it going to have to take extras? Because LSU's winning this game. The crowd was into it. Arkansas looked deflated. They were making mental errors left and right. And I trust Jay Johnson a heck of a lot more than Dave Van Horn. Like, that moment right there, I knew LSU's winning this game. So really, it's 2 moments separately, but it's the same guy. Luis Hernandez came up with clutch hit after clutch hit after clutch hit. Back, Paul, I'll ask you guys. Look, everybody seems to have a different one because, like, I went with Hernandez. Hunt didn't even put Hernandez on his list. Now, of course, he put the Jared Jones hit instead. Like, you can go back and forth wherever you want in that game, but, like, everybody seems to have a different moment. Not in this season, like any season, any sport, everybody has that one moment where you believe your team's going to win the national championship. Like for me in 2019, when you were at home against Florida, you trailed early in that game, you came all the way back, you beat them by multiple scores. I'm walking out of that stadium thinking, hey, LSU is going to win the national championship. Now keep in mind, they hadn't played Auburn yet, they hadn't played Alabama yet, but Florida was a really good team. LSU showed a lot of resolve in that game, and to me, that was the moment where I look back on and say, hey, LSU can make a serious run at this thing. What was that moment for either of you?
I think it was still, man, like just thinking back about the like you said about the Little Rock game, that was just, yeah, that was when you were watching that game, you're like, man, like, are they about to lose to Little Rock? And like, are we not making a super regional? And are they going to get bounced here?
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. And then after that, I can agree with you. After that, it was like, all right, they're going to go, they're going to play West Virginia, and they should easily win because West Virginia was a good team, but LSU just far more talented, and they ran through that super regional. And then once you make it to Omaha, I think for me, the one was just the Cade Anderson start. I mean, it's going to go down as maybe the greatest, pitching performance by an LSU pitcher in Omaha. So that was incredible to watch. And I think that was probably my favorite moment of the season was the complete game shutout.
You could kind of name, like, take your pick, right? Like Cade Anderson against Oklahoma was excellent. Like Anthony Ianson had a 14 strikeout game this year. Like Hunt breaks them all down, and like they're all good moments that Hunt mentions, but like there's some that he left out because there's so many, right? Like the walk-off grand slam at 1:17 in the morning against Tennessee. But then you win at 1 a.m. like 3 weeks later. Almost the same fashion.
Yeah.
Like, the resolve that this team showed, you can pick your spot. Like, Paul, I don't know if you have a moment. Like, if you don't, it's fine. But, like, is there one area where you were like, this team has turned the corner?
I would say it was more of one game, and it was the Sunday game against Tennessee when they run ruled them. I just felt like that was sending a message to the defending champions saying, like, this is our year. We're better than you. You did lose game 2, but you won the series. And then you go, you run rule Southeastern. You did lose the Texas A&M series, but then you go and you win the Arkansas series. And I just think that propelled you into your postseason run.
No, I mean, it really did. Like, we all kind of picked 3 different moments, but, like, they all make sense. That's how good this team was. And, like, look, I think 2023 LSU baseball was a lot more talented than this one. In my opinion, it's not close. But this ride was almost more fun, right? Because, like, at the beginning of the year, everybody said, hey, this LSU baseball team is going to be really good. Then they were kind of hit and miss out of the gate, and you're like, okay, let's temper our expectations. It was such a roller coaster of a season. Your bats were hot at the beginning. They fell off. They got hot again at the end. Your pitching, your bullpen was not good at all at the regular season. You wound up having one of the best pitching staffs in the country when it was all said and done. Like, when you look at Jay Johnson, that win in 2023 was awesome. But you're always going to hear he did it with somebody else's players. Dylan Cruz was here. Trey Morgan was here. Like, he went and got Tommy White and Paul Skeens, credit to him. But, you know, he did it with a lot of other people's players. You hear it across every sport. You hear it in football. You heard it with Les Miles in 2007. He won with Saban's players. Now, Miles went on to be super successful, play for another national title, and that kind of got put to rest as well. But, like, this one here lets people know that Jay Johnson is here to stay, and the Tigers are going nowhere. You talk about how big of a dynasty this was under Skip Bertman. I don't see why it can't be the same way. Like, Beck, yesterday I happened to be driving home. I knew I was going to be working a double for the next 3 games. So I was like, you know, I'm going to dip out a little bit early. It was about 2:30. And, like, Hunt asked you how many natties you thought Jay Johnson could win in the next 15 years. You went with 4. That would have put him at 6. That would put him passing Skip.
Yeah. And you know, we went through it, and it's just thinking about he's got, like, I would say he's got at least 15 years left at LSU because he's not going anywhere. You know, there's just, he's going to be here for at least 15 more years. He's got 2 and 4 so far. I'm not telling you he's going to win 2 every 4 years, but I think in 15 years, you know, they're going to make Omaha at least 8 or 9 times, maybe 10. I don't know. I think more often than not, there are going to be less seasons where they don't make Omaha. So, I can probably safely say that they will make Omaha plenty of times and they won't win the national championship. But if you make Omaha 8 or 9 more times, winning 4 out of those 9 times, I think is actually reasonable. I mean, it sounds crazy just thinking about it, but when you actually really consider what Jay Johnson has here at LSU and just how much of a leg up they have on other teams in terms of the commitment to the sport, I think it actually isn't that far fetched for that to happen.
I don't think it's like super far fetched. I would go with 2. That would be my answer.
That's a reasonable answer.
Well, and just because, like, to your point, let's say you make Omaha every other year, which right now Jay has not made it.
Yeah.
That's very likely. Thing is, can Jay really continue to just win it all in Omaha? Like, I'm sure it's possible, but, like, it took Skip Bertman 5 times.
Yeah.
Skip Bertman got there 5 times before he finally won his first one. Now, he got it rolling after that, and he was a juggernaut moving forward. But, like, look at all the great coaches that have gotten there multiple times. Like, Kevin O'Sullivan's gotten there multiple times. He's won it 1 time. Dave Van Horn's never won it. We were talking the other day after LSU beat Arkansas. Dave Van Horn has been to Omaha 10 times and never won the national championship.
Yeah.
I mean, you go look at all the guys. Like, I don't disagree that he can't get there a lot. I think asking him to win a title every other year is a big ask. But, like, to your point, the fact that we're even having this conversation shows what kind of coach Jay Johnson is, shows what kind of program LSU is, you know, with Skip all the way through the Manera years up until now, and what we think this program will be moving forward, because Jay Johnson certainly appears to have staying power. Like, people are going to act like, oh, well, it's LSU, right? But, like, Jay Johnson went to Omaha multiple times with Arizona. Like, this is not new for Jay Johnson. You give a really good coach the tools to be a great coach, and that's what's happened with the pairing of LSU and Jay Johnson. All right, look, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, we're going to go around the SEC. That's coming up here on After Further Review.
After Further Review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability. Because your well-being is more than a priority, it's our purpose.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you. Bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, evamore.com.
Welcome back in a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp here with you, sitting in the host chair for Matt Moscona. I will be here today, tomorrow, and Monday as, his normal fill-in, Matthew Musso. He's also out all this week, and he'll be back on Tuesday. So when Moose gets back, he'll take it over from Tuesday all the way up to next Friday. But Scone, a little extended vacation for our guys. So we are rocking and rolling with you here on this Thursday. All right, we got a little bit of time, and we do it every day around this time. It's now time for Around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Ole Miss and UConn were previously scheduled to begin a home-and-home series, the first one taking place in Connecticut, September 11th, 2027. Then the series was set to conclude with UConn traveling to Ole Miss November 18th, 2028. Well, according to a press release from UConn, the series with Ole Miss is now officially off, but a specific reason for the cancellation was not indicated. UConn has actually already moved to replace the canceled series. The Huskies will face the Duke Blue Devils in place of the Ole Miss Rebels. As far as Ole Miss, the cancellation leaves the Rebels with two scheduled non-conference opponents for 27 and 28. So in 27, they have Charlotte and Oregon State, and in 2028, as of right now, South Alabama and Alcorn State.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
One of Georgia's biggest transfer portal additions this offseason came in the form of running back Joshua McCray, transfer from Illinois under Brett Bielema. He led the Illini last season, 609 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. Entered the portal on April 15th. He committed to Georgia officially back on April 20th. Well, Brett Bielema has now come out and, kind of hinted at maybe a little bit of tampering. He said, we lost a guy to Georgia. Somehow he found his way to the portal, and just 12 hours after being in the portal, he was already on a flight on his way to Georgia. I don't know how it happened, but it's crazy. So a little bit of an insinuation there from Brett Bielema. For what it's worth, McCray was one of 4 spring transfer portal additions for the Bulldogs, as Georgia also got outside linebacker Elo Vadozzi, D lineman Joshua Horton, and offensive lineman Walt Claire Flynn.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
NBA draft last night. South Carolina forward Colin Murray Boyles was drafted to the Toronto Raptors with the 9th pick in last night's draft. And if you watched the NBA draft last night, you could see that, Colin Murray Boyles was less than happy to be drafted by the Toronto Raptors. They showed him on camera. He was hanging his head and dropped a 4-letter expletive that the camera certainly picked up, him mouthing the words to that. But he may not be happy to be in Toronto. Toronto's certainly happy to have him. Murray Boyles, really good last season in Columbia, South Carolina. He averaged 16.8 points and 8.3 rebounds per game a season ago.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Jeff Lebby has offered 6'9" offensive tackle Keenan Verkirk out of the state of Georgia. The high school offensive tackle is one of the first in the 2028 class to appear on major college radar. That's right, he's a freshman. Verkirk, just 14 years old, already standing at 6'9". For what it's worth, the Bulldogs and Jeff Lebby have already extended offers to several 2028 standouts across the Southeast. But Keenan Verkirk, the 6'9", 14-year-old, the latest offer for Jeff Lebby.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Ben Duncombe, a 3-star edge rusher out of Lake Travis High School, is committed to Kentucky. He chose the Wildcats over Kansas State, Oklahoma State, and Wisconsin. He's currently ranked as the 855th national player in the class of 2026, according to 247 Sports. Duncombe took his final official visit to Lexington over the weekend, which helped seal the deal and add him to Kentucky's growing 2026 recruiting class. He becomes the 3rd player from the state of Texas to commit to Kentucky in the 2026 cycle, joining wide receiver Davis McCray, San Antonio's Isaiah McMillan, and Antonio Christian as well.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri keeps rolling on the recruiting front. Wide receiver Devion Hill Lomax becomes the third commitment for the Tigers in the last 3 days, 6'4", 180 pounds. During his junior season last fall, 18 catches, 341 yards, and 4 touchdowns, average 18.9 yards per catch. He also plays basketball, runs track. The athleticism is on display. High jumping, 6 feet 8 inches in high school. Hill Lomax becomes the 7th overall commit for Missouri in the 2026 recruiting class. He is the second wide receiver pledge for Eli Drinkwitz and staff, joining Jabari Brady. All right, that's going to do it for Around the SEC. We're going to take a timeout. We get back, we're closing out hour number 1, a Thursday edition of AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel, where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
Welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 1 here on a Thursday edition of AFR. Taylor Sharp sitting in the host chair for our guy, Matt Moscona. He is on a much-needed vacation. He'll be out today, tomorrow, all next week. I'm with you for the next 3 days. Then our guy, Matt Musso, coming right back in here in the studio where he belongs. Well, guys, we only got about 3 or 4 minutes until we have to take that top of the hour break. Beck, Paul, I was driving around yesterday, and I came into the middle of a discussion here on AFR. Is Matt's favorite candy Dots?
No, I think it's gummy bears. Paulie, I don't know if
okay, I heard him sticking his neck out for Dots and Laffy Taffy.
He was a proponent of Dots, but I think he was saying his favorite is gummy bears, though.
I think he was saying something about if he had his pick of Halloween candy, it would be Dots. But I think his go-to candy was the gummy bears.
That's what it was. Yep, that's right.
Okay. He can dog me a vacation day, whatever. I don't use them all anyways. Dots are terrible. They're awful. Not only do they get stuck in your teeth, because, like, okay, one of my favorite candies, like, pretty much every time I go to the movie theaters now, I'm getting Mike and Ike's. Like, I love them.
Yeah.
It's something I just started eating, like, a few years ago. Mike and Ike's will get stuck in your teeth as well. The problem is, Dots don't really have a flavor. Like, can anybody tell me the difference between the red dot and the green dot? Anybody know?
Is there a difference? I don't know.
They don't. It's like, you know what it reminds me? Gumdrops. Gumdrops also suck. Like, these are what Dots are. And then, like, Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffy's okay. It's got to either be the cherry or the banana. Those are the only two I'll eat.
The banana is funny because it's like my wife hates banana because it doesn't really taste like a real banana. You know, it's like that fake banana flavor.
But you see, like, I love anything banana. Like, I'm the guy that'll go to the snow cone stand and get, like, I'll get the banana snow cone and you, like, stuff it with vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
like, that's awesome. Like, I'm a big banana guy. So, like, that makes a lot of sense. When's the last time either of you went to the movies?
I actually went on Tuesday.
Which theater did you go to?
I went to the AMC on O'Neill.
Okay, so that's where we used to always go, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, growing up, that was the closest movie theater.
Right.
We're out in Walker, so the closest theater to us now is Movie Tavern in Juba.
Yeah.
Movie Tavern has this candy called Sour Jacks.
Okay.
I have never seen them anywhere else.
Never seen that.
They basically look like fat watermelon slices, but they're like 4 different colors. Like, my favorite candy in the entire world.
I'll have to check it out.
You can't get it anywhere else. Like, here's what Victoria did for me for Valentine's Day, right? Like, you know, I get her the flowers and the candy and everything she loves. She made me what she called a man bouquet.
Ah, so it's candy?
She got skewers, like the little wooden stick skewers, and went and picked up Texas Roadhouse rolls. Because, like, again, there's a Texas Roadhouse in Juba, and we go all the time. So she got the Texas Roadhouse rolls and stuck them on the skewers and kind of made it into, like, the bouquet thing, right? And then got me my favorite candies. She got me, like, a king-size Snickers. She went to Movie Tavern, walked in and was like, hey, I'm only here to buy your Sour Jacks. How do I do that? They sent her to the counter. She bought the Sour Jacks and rolled out. So, like, I'm a big candy guy. I got to tell you, like, I didn't hear either of y'all's favorite candy, but I got to be honest, Dots and Laffy Taffy's not the play. Not the play. Even on Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, even on Halloween, I'm getting Twix. I'm getting Snickers. I'm still getting the standard stuff. I'm getting the Reese's pumpkin or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's so I think in terms of chocolate, I really like, it's not as common as well, but the Reese's Fast Break is really good. It's a candy bar that Reese's does, but it's kind of like a Reese's cup, but it's got like nougat, and it's more so it's shaped like a candy bar, so it doesn't have as much peanut butter as a peanut butter cup does, but it's really, really good.
Wait, what is it?
It's called a Reese's Fast Break.
Oh yeah, I've had that.
Yeah,
It's been around forever.
Yes, that's probably.
Oh, you were breaking news here for me.
No, it's not that common, but it's probably my favorite. And then in terms of, I really do like gummy bears too, but I think I think I'd probably have to go with the Fast Break though.
Well, so like Paul has the advantage over us because Paul currently has a daughter.
He does.
So Paul gets the dad tax whenever he wants on candy. So like if I'm Paul, like Paul, do you eat candy corn?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I love candy corn. Okay, but like, when I have kids, I can't wait. Snickers, Twix, they're gone. All right, look, that's going to do it for hour number 1. Wanted to have a little fun there before we came back. Hour number 2, we're going to talk a little bit of LSU football. Bryce Kuhn of 247 Sports is going to hop on, talk some recruiting. Michael Cobble was out there last night. We're going to get his reaction to the celebration parade and what he saw in Omaha. That's all coming up here on the other side on AFR.
AFR.
All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of which, Rouse's.com. Father's Day this weekend. Maybe you're going to be grilling burgers for Dad. You want to build a better burger. Rouse's can help you do it. Get by any of the Rouse's locations. You can get all the trimmings, the fixings, the sides that you need for your burgers or whatever you're going to be eating for Father's Day. You want to buy Dad a couple of steaks to throw on the grill, you could do that, of course, at Rouse's in their great butcher department, their meat section. Maybe you let someone else take care of it. They got great catering trays over at Rouse's. You can order there. Heading up to Omaha, stock up those ice chests before you hit the road for the drive up to the Midwest, or if you're just hanging out here this week for Father's Day or to watch the College World Series, whatever you need, they got it at Rouse's. Get there, check out that weekly ad on the app, on the homepage. If you're doing your grocery shopping, you want to save, they'll always find ways for you to do that. Of course, they love to source locally. Rouse's.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Sports Center.
Dallas gets a generational talent. I'm Chris Smith. After the Mavericks took a forward Cooper Flagg with the first pick in the 2025 NBA draft, ESPN Shams Charania says Nico Harrison has molded this franchise into a contender.
Whatever you want to say about the Luka Doncic trade, Nico Harrison has built arguably the best front line in the NBA. You think about Anthony Davis, now Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively II. They just extended Daniel Gafford on a new 3-year, almost $60 million deal. The biggest key, though, of this season is going to be Kyrie Irving, the return to health that he's going to have. If he was healthy right now, we'd probably be talking about this team with the Thunder competing for a championship.
Dallas will pick first in the second round of the NBA draft. Coverage begins 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, 8 on ESPN. Shams also reporting that the Lakers are moving up in the second round of the draft tonight, acquiring the 45th pick from the Bulls for the 55th in cash. College football QB Peyton Falzone's ESPN's number 7 dual threat passer in 2026 has flipped his commitment from Penn State to Auburn, sources told ESPN's Eli Letterman. And the NCAA has rejected a waiver request from Sacramento State to play football in the FBS as an independent next year.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Friday as NBA teams get ready for free agency. I'll tell you why the Bucks need to get their offseason right if they don't want to lose Giannis. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6 right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Welcome in. Hour number 2, a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Filling in for Matt Moscona, I'm Taylor Sharp. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Jacob Beck. We also got Cameron back here, shadowing. Cameron's one of our interns. So get this, I'm talking to Cameron earlier, thinking he's from Baton Rouge, thinking he goes to LSU. Nope. Cameron was talking about, the sports scene at JMU is actually getting a little bit bigger. I'm like, James Madison? I got Cameron over here is from Virginia, so long way from home. Hope it's not too hot for you down here. But all right, look, we are rolling right along here on this Thursday. Right now, I want to look at a little bit of college football. CBS Sports yesterday put out college football's top dynamic duos. Now, this did not have to be quarterback, receiver, tight end. It was guys on the same team that play similar positions. Offense and defense didn't matter. Like number 1 on their list, Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, the running back duo at Penn State. Makes a lot of sense. Carried them to a college football playoff appearance. Everyone's going to talk about Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller has a lot left to prove, but Nick Singleton, Katron Allen, obviously number 1 on that list. Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill, the edge rushers from Texas, sit number 2 on this list. Like Jeremiah Smith and the Ohio State wide receivers are on here. Clemson has 2 defensive linemen, TJ Parker and Peter Woods. We talked about how good that pass rush could likely be against the LSU Tigers in week 1. Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson, like you get a lot of big-time, well-known names. Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton Jr. from Auburn, the 2 wide receivers. No one from LSU is on this list, and I totally get that. But I wanted to look at, okay, well, if we were making this list for LSU, who would be on it? Who's the candidate to be LSU's next dynamic duo, if you will? I think there's a number. Like, my first thought went wide receiver. You have Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, Chris Hilton Jr., Barry and Brown's coming in from Kentucky. Like, there's a lot of options. Aaron Anderson would be one of those 2 for me. He's your leading returning receiver from a year ago. 884 yards, 5 touchdowns. He had that down first year when he kind of underperformed after transferring back here from Alabama. Last year, he exploded. He was your slot receiver. Garrett Nussmeier looked for Aaron Anderson and Mason Taylor on 3rd and 4th downs when he had to have it. That's how much he trusted Aaron Anderson. I'm not saying he's wide receiver 1 on the outside, but he's probably your top target going into next year. Look, Chris Hilton, he had the big impact at the end of the season. All year long, we had talked about if Chris Hilton could get in this offense, if you had Chris Hilton, if you could have a deep threat in this offense, I think it helped to Garrett Nussmeier. Look at the last 3 games of the regular season. Garrett Nussmeier, 72% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. That was Vandy, Oklahoma, and then the bowl game against Baylor. Chris Hilton was a big part of all of those games because it just opens everything up for you offensively with a guy like Chris Hilton being that deep threat. And Nick Anderson comes in, didn't play at all last year. Like, played in 1 game, no catches, had a season-ending injury. That's Nick Anderson. So you're just waiting for him to fully recover from that injury. You know, he was kind of in and out of the lineup there in spring. They're trying to work him back slowly. But the last time we saw Nick Anderson on a Power 4 football field was 2023, and he was really, really good. 798 receiving yards, but double-digit touchdowns for the Oklahoma Sooners. With Dylan Gabriel at quarterback, Nick Anderson thrived. I don't see why he can't thrive in this offense under Garrett Nussmeier, who by all accounts is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Like, he is the leading returning passer in college football. No quarterback coming back this year that started a year ago threw for more yards than Garrett Nussmeier. I think Nick Anderson is going to be a starter on this team. I like Barry and Brown. I like the young guys, whether it's Francis, whether it's Phillip Wright. We'll see if Jelani Watkins can do something. Barry and Brown coming in. But I think you're starting 3. Like, first game, if I had to predict it right now, Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, Nick Anderson. That's where I'm going, because I think Nick Anderson gives you something that nobody else does. And he's 6'5", 220 pounds. Hilton's got speed. Anderson can do a little bit of everything. But you have a lot of guys that have speed. Like, Anderson can be a deep threat for you. Xavion Thomas is returning. He's got speed. Barry and Brown's coming in. There are some circles that say he's the fastest player in college football. Like, you have a lot of deep threat options. You don't have anybody 6'5", 220 pounds, but you got Nick Anderson. He provides you something that nobody else on this team does. I think Nick Anderson slides right in there in that starting offense. I also considered running back when looking at the dynamic duos. Caden Durham burst onto the scene. You remember in the South Carolina game, like, you just could not get into a rhythm offensively. You put Caden Durham in there, boom, that was it. He took the starting job. He never looked back. He was a big reason why you won that game. So my thought was, okay, we have Caden Durham. Now, Josh Williams is moving on, but Caleb Jackson is returning. Can he be the player that everyone wants him to be? Can he live up to the potential that was surrounding him when he got on campus 2 years ago? Harlem Berry's coming in, the number 1 running back in the country. You have JT Lindsey, who a lot of people forget about, was one of the top running backs in the country in his own right. Could one of those guys step up next to a Caden Durham? I considered pass rusher. Gabriel Ralliford, Jack Pyburn, Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler. Like, that's a really good group of 4. Could a couple of those guys step up and have a big season? Ultimately, though, I think it's Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins. I think if you're going into the year saying, these are your 2 playmakers, you need these guys to have big years, it's Weeks and Perkins. Whit Weeks became one of the best defensive players in college football a season ago. I mean, you remember the fumble recovery against Arkansas that was so big. He had 15 tackles against Oklahoma to end the regular season, including a sack and a forced fumble there. A Ole Miss game, 29-26 in overtime in Tiger Stadium. A gotta-have-it game in the SEC. What did Whit Weeks do? 18 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. He was all over the field. 11 tackles in that tightly contested game against South Carolina. Whit Weeks was all over the field. He is your number 1 linebacker on this team. Now, Devon Keys will probably slide in next to him. Harold Perkins, he'll play a little bit of a hybrid role, but Blake Baker has said he's going to play star. That's where he's going to be full-time. I think that move is huge for the LSU defense. If you remember, Harold Perkins' freshman year on the edge, he would come in as a 3rd down pass rusher, and he was awesome. He wasn't an every down player at that spot as a freshman. 2023, they tried to move him inside, and quite frankly, it didn't work. Like, hand up, I thought Harold Perkins would be fine at middle linebacker. He wasn't. Last year, we saw flashes at the star before the injury. He came up with a big fumble recovery in that South Carolina game. That was a game-changing play. South Carolina turned the ball over in their own territory. LSU was able to capitalize on that. That was in the second half of that game. Like, that's making game-winning plays. Moving him to star, though, it frees him up. It makes him more versatile on defense. He can rush the passer from the star position. He can drop back in coverage. I think his coverage skills are underrated as it is. How good can this LSU defense be? It has to be with Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins. Like, okay, on our morning show off the bench that I'm a part of, Whit Weeks came on about 3 weeks ago, kind of recapping spring, previewing the upcoming season, and he flat out said, look, I think our defense this year, from what I saw in spring practice, is better than it was at any point last year, and that's without me and Harold Perkins. Whit Weeks flat out said that a couple weeks ago on this very station. And I believe in Blake Baker. Like, I believe Whit Weeks when he says that. Missouri's defense was awful when Baker got there. His first year there, he made them a respectable defense. They were top 30 his second year. He's entering his second year at LSU. LSU had a historically bad defense under Matt House in 2023. Last season, it's not where you wanted it to be, but it was a heck of a lot better. Can they be a top 30 defense again? Can Blake Baker repeat what he did in Missouri in 2025 here at LSU? Because I'll tell you right now, if LSU has a top 30 defense next year, this is a college football playoff team. I think so. If Garrett Nussmeier limits his turnovers and the defense takes the big jump in year 2 under Blake Baker, like what happened at Missouri, I don't see a lot of losses on this team's schedule. However good this defense is, though, Harold Perkins, Whit Weeks, they're going to be a big factor in it. I think that's LSU's dynamic duo heading into 2025. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going to talk some LSU recruiting. Bryce Kuhn of 247 Sports hops on with us on the other side here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief:
Our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean smelling, fresh smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. parishrestoration.com.
All right, welcome back in. A Thursday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona, who is on vacation right now. We're going to go out to the phone lines, talk a little recruiting. Bryce Kuhn covers LSU for 247 Sports. Bryce, how are you?
Doing well, man. When's your vacation? I guess that's what I need to know. A bunch of guys on vacation. When's your time off?
It got lost. It got lost. That's what happened. We don't know. We're not allowed the vacation right now. You would think the summer. Look, I messed it up, okay, because I took vacation like in March, and then I'm taking it again in September, and then me not thinking, I'm like, well, I'm going to have to do the entire summer by myself. That's poor planning on my part, okay? I'm to blame for that one.
No, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Bryce, look, let's dive right into it. The big news I want to talk about actually occurred on Friday when quarterback out of Salina High School in Texas, Bo Bentley, chose the Oklahoma Sooners over LSU. It had been a two-man race for quite some time. The Sooners win out on that one. How big of a blow is this for Brian Kelly?
When you look at kind of how the quarterback position shaped up over the past 18 months, I think that it really kind of puts in perspective kind of the debacle that LSU finds themselves in, specifically with Bo Bentley. I mean, this was always going to be a race after Jared Curtis decided to go to Georgia. Yeah. It really came down to Oklahoma and LSU. That was really kind of the two big things. And when you look at the ties and Bentley saying, that Oklahoma was the dream school as a kid, I mean, you can understand why he went. I don't fault the kid for wanting to go somewhere where he said he dreamed going to. But, leaving that LSU visit, man, we heard nothing but great things, just nothing but great things about where, Joe Sloan had done, about how Brian Kelly had just kind of, really gotten involved on this recruitment, and just overall with how the staff hosted them and with what they were able to do. So to lose a guy like that, knowing that there's not a clear number two option, and we'll talk about that in a second, in this class, it definitely hurts. And I'll tell you this, it also kind of hurts when you talk about the rest of the class, because typically your quarterback is the de facto second recruiter for the guys in that 2026 class. He's the leader, just naturally like that. So to not have one of those nailed down and a talent like Bo Bentley was, it definitely hurts. I mean, this isn't a good spot. And, like I mentioned, the past 18 months have put them in quite a predicament to where Taylor, we don't want to talk about this, although I think too much because we want to focus on the season, but you could realistically get to a scenario where you're rolling into next January with one scholarship quarterback. Nuss is gone. Van Buren and Hurley going to battle. If the loser of that battle, transfers out, which is very likely, could happen, where do you go from there? So it's just quite a predicament, and I know LSU fans are kind of asking themselves, we're going to have to go portal shopping again this offseason.
Well, you might have to go portal shopping. You just kind of teased it a second ago. So, Bentley commits to Oklahoma on Friday. A few days later, LSU announces, hey, Bryson Beaver's been offered. We'll see where that goes. It kind of got LSU fans' hopes up a little bit. And then yesterday, Bryson Beaver commits to Oregon. So without Bentley, without Beaver, is it really just wait and see what happens with Hurley and Van Buren and then go get a guy out of the portal?
I think so. I mean, I think you're in a situation, look, that Nussmeier's gone, and you're going to have essentially, and we'll play the hypothetical, if LSU's not in a playoff game, does Nussmeier want to play that final game? If he doesn't, for whatever reason, the bowl prep is going to be an audition. It's going to be a full-on tryout for the 2026 job. And so you would be able to keep your quarterback, you think, through that, one of those two guys. But you play the game, and let's just say, and I'll pick one, let's say Van Buren wins the job and Hurley is the guy that is going to be, entering the portal or vice versa, however you want to look at it. When you see that, there's one scholarship there. I mean, you've got Picarella, the kid there from U-High on there as a non-scholarship guy. You have Jawan Johnson. No disrespect to either of those two. Not in the day and age of now SEC and a 12-team playoff, and it could grow more. You don't want guys with no experience backing that up. It just is what it is. It's a fact. So when you look and see kind of what the room looks like, you're probably going to have to go portal shopping. What can you realistically, look at without the risk of losing a guy like Van Buren in the spring cycle? I always say, Taylor, you can't coach in fear of the transfer portal, but the situation kind of where the LSU finds themselves in, I don't think we have a realistic idea of what it could look like in terms of the position next spring for spring practice. I don't know if we really have a look at that. I mean, it could be one of these guys. It could be none if you don't play your cards right. So they're going to have to go portal shopping. You're going to have to find a guy that's okay being a backup, who's okay doing some stuff in terms of, just maybe not being the de facto starter. I kind of think of like an A.J. Swan type this past year that had taken some snaps in SEC play. But other than that, man, it's your guess is as good as mine. I mean, I'm going to have to load up the new EA college football game here in about 3 weeks and figure out who's going to come in the portal. So that's where I'll be looking.
Oh, well, you just got me excited about that. Look, let's get off of quarterback and on to a lot more local news. Lamar Brown right here in Baton Rouge out of U-High. LSU fans have had such an emotional roller coaster with this guy already. It was announced, a few weeks ago, he's canceling the LSU visit to go see A&M, but then he reschedules. He comes to LSU. It's kind of been a lot up in the air. In your opinion, where do you think the Tigers stand right now?
We were out at the LSU's elite camp on Friday, and I looked at Lamar, and I've looked at Lamar multiple times, and I said to him, we've interviewed him a lot and everything for 24/7, and I said, man, you're playing with fans' feelings right now. You're having too much fun. He said, man, you only get to do this one time, and you got to have fun with it. But, for me, it's just been a clear two-horse race for me, honestly. Texas A&M, LSU, these two schools battling it out. I would say right now, Taylor, that, I feel good about where LSU stands, but anytime you see a program like whether the Longhorns, whether it's the Aggies, you always worry about that dollar amount. It's just where we are in college football now. So I do think there's a situation to where, when he makes his decision public, would it shock me? Absolutely shock me to see him throw the Texas A&M hat on? No, but I do feel comfortable saying that LSU right now is still the team to beat. This past weekend, I guess it was, for his official visit, they knocked it out of the park. Everything you wanted to do, bringing a guy like Mason Smith in, who was in a very similar situation some years ago, being the Louisiana kid, 5-star that had a chance to go elsewhere. You're sitting like that with a kid like Lamar Brown. I don't know how the visit could have gone any better. So I would pin LSU winning this battle. But recruiting's crazy. It wouldn't absolutely floor me to see the Aggies hat thrown on.
You mentioned it that Lamar Brown said, hey, you only get to do this once. I'm going to have a little fun with it. Another guy that's having fun with it, taking all of his visits, Tristan Keys, the 5-star wide receiver out of Mississippi. Any update on his recruitment?
Yeah, I know one of our national analysts at 24/7, stated, and it kind of caused a stir on the message boards today, that it wouldn't shock him to see Keys not end up in the LSU class. And, that's something that, fresh off the OV, the Tigers knocked this out of the park. I talked with some people close to Keys and, in his camp, and they said, this was really an opportunity for them just to kind of nail things down. And what does that mean? Well, we can talk about it openly. Make sure the financial, compensation's where it needs to be, as well as the opportunity. He had a really, really good time with the guys like Jabari Mack, there being able to, recruit him and be a part of that. Kenny Darby, the guy from North Louisiana, who's obviously a really, really good talent too. You have that three-headed monster. Man, if you're LSU, with the way Cortez Hankins done this, I still feel good about it. I mean, and this is just, Taylor coming from having sat in his high school, talked with his coaches, talked with people he's close to, understanding what he's about. Of course he's going to have fun with it. I mean, I don't know what your athletic history is, Taylor, but I think you and I would have killed for an opportunity to be able to take, OVs and do these types of things. So I don't blame
I ended with a loss in high school, Bryce. I ended with a loss in high school, no playoff appearance. So not even close.
Okay. Not even close. Yeah, me either. So we would have killed for these opportunities. But now I think when you're looking at a guy like Keys, it's one of those things where you sit there and say, okay, we're in the lead. You've won the war, or you've won the battle. How do we win the war? And it's going to go up all the way till signing day. It's just going to be one of those things that Tiger fans are going to have to, keep on their toes. But, man, coming out of that visit, I still personally, from people I've talked to, feel good about where they stand. But like I said, it's a crazy day and age, and he's one of the best in the country. So it's going to be a battle the rest of the way.
Bryce Kuhn, our guest right now. Bryce, D lineman Emmanuel Ruffin from Alabama. Look, it's summertime, and how American is this? He's set to commit on July 4th, and it's between LSU and Ohio State. Now, this is a guy that, Tiger fans may not know a ton about. He's kind of been an under-the-radar guy, but, I mean, he's obviously certainly got LSU pretty high on his list.
Well, and what's crazy, as we were prepping for this segment, he actually tweeted out an hour ago that he's pushing his decision back. So he will not be committing on July the 4th anymore. He tweeted this around 3 o'clock or 3:15 Central Time. It was one of those things, and talking with some people on the Ohio State side of things, the Buckeyes feel like they're in the lead. When he took that official visit, I believe it was the first weekend in June, it was one of those things where they just knocked every single box. They checked every single box of what they wanted. And, Alabama was another program that was in on it. I think the Crimson Tide, honestly, secretly are still on this when you talk about a kid that's right down the road from them. They're in Bessemer. Where's LSU? The Tigers have been involved with so many different defensive linemen that I wouldn't say I feel overly confident about LSU's chances, but I didn't feel confident coming into the July 4th commitment date. What does that tell you? Well, that LSU staff might be trying to put together something else in terms of what they could do. And also, too, for a kid like Ruffin, what's coming up on July 1st? Revenue sharing. So him pushing that date back does kind of give you a sense of how these kids are dealing with situations as the landscape's about to completely change once again. So really, really, really good talent, 6'5", 6'6", 290, 300 pounds. I would say right now it's a 3-horse race between Ohio State, Alabama, and LSU, and I'd probably put LSU as maybe that 1B or that 2 spot. I don't think they're the leader, but hey, pushing it back, if you're not the leader, typically does mean good things for you. So it's a race LSU's still going to be in.
Bryce, before we get you out of here, man, where can people see more of your stuff?
Of course, yeah. You can follow me on Twitter or X. I don't know what you guys call it. I'm still going to call it Twitter. At Bryce _Kuhn. Then obviously all of the work over at Go 24/7. Great staff over there. Sonny Ship, Glenn West, and you can get that summer subscription. We're having a lot of fun talking a little baseball and obviously recruiting during this dead period. So it's a great opportunity to come over and hang out with a great LSU community.
All right, that's Bryce Kuhn, 247 Sports. Bryce, thanks for your time today, man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going right back to the phone lines. Michael Cobble, WBRZ, going to hop on with us. He was out there at Alex Box Stadium last night. We're going to kind of get a scene setter from him, then going to get his thoughts on LSU's run in the College World Series. That's coming up on the other side here on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for Unique Aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling. And right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Louisville Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At LUVA, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake, champion health partner of LSU Athletics. But they've also been a great partner of ours. Our Lady of the Lake is sponsoring our coverage in Omaha. They're our title sponsor of our coverage in Omaha with Hunt Palmer. So we're able to give you boots on the ground coverage there. And the truth is, when it comes to the mission of the Franciscan missionaries of Our Lady, the sisters, that's continued to trickle down through all the different generations and all of the different parts of the FMOL health system, which includes Our Lady of the Lake in Baton Rouge or Our Lady of the Lords, many of the different hospitals and clinics, and even the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, the standalone children's hospital in Baton Rouge. you see those touch points of access and convenience that everybody wants, and high-level healthcare. The same healthcare that the LSU student-athletes are receiving, that the LSU students are receiving, is the healthcare that you and I receive from Our Lady of the Lake. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar.
All right, welcome back in a Thursday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp filling in for Matt Moscona, going right back out to the phone lines. WBRZ Sports Director Michael Cobble joins us right now. Cobbs, how are you?
Doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good. Look, you were out there at Alec Box last night. Kind of set the scene for us a little bit. How many people were there? Like, what was the atmosphere like? Like, what was it like being out there?
Oh, it was great. I mean, obviously, it was a big celebration. The grandstands were packed. Like, it was packed standing room on the concourses. So the way they had the stage set up, you couldn't really sit too far past the grandstand and see anything. So everybody was really packed into that one tight area, but it was fantastic. It was a great celebration for maybe some people who were in Omaha, but it gave a great chance for the people that weren't in Omaha, a chance to celebrate the Tigers as well.
Speaking of Omaha, you were out there covering the College World Series. I'm going to ask you the big one first, Cobble. Who had more Jell-O shots, you or Hunter McKinn?
I didn't have any Jell-O shots. Those things are nasty. No, I didn't. I don't do any like celebratory or traditional Jell-O shots. No, I'm good. I think Hunter may have had one. Neither one of us really went out and partied too much. It's a lot of work when you're up there for 13, 14 days. But obviously, a lot of people had a lot of Jell-O shots on our behalf, and we're happy to let them have them.
Yeah, and, well, to your point, like you're out there 13 or 14 days, but it's also a good thing at the same time. It means the Tigers go far, right. And obviously they take home their 8th national title in school history. So give me a little bit of an Omaha recap. Like, what are your thoughts on this perfect 5-0 run? Like, where does this LSU performance in Omaha rank for you as far as, like, the many years you've been covering this team?
Well, they're all special, right? And, like, you don't really – there's not one that's better than the other. This one's a little different, I mean, maybe than the last in 2023. I was there for that one. I've been to Omaha a number of times, and a lot of those times those teams didn't win. So, I was fortunate 25 years ago to be like just new on the job when the 2000 team won, and I was about the same age as the guys were on that team, so I had a lot different dynamic with those guys. Like, we would go drink together, and stuff. And that was a special team to me. That 2023 team, they were just loaded with talent, a special team, and you really felt like you were witnessing something kindred to that 2019 LSU Tiger football team. This year's club was just a little different because I felt like they have a lot of talent, yes, and I think you'll see some of that talent really take shape over the coming years, both on the next LSU team, but also in professional baseball. But I just felt like this team really carried itself as a team, and in different ways they carried each other at different times. It was great to see the way they complemented each other. They lifted each other when maybe somebody was down. It was just really a special unit, I think, and obviously that's what Jay Johnson's talked a lot about with that tough and together aspect. They really lived it. It was impressive to see different guys have their moments at different times, and I think that made it a lot more enjoyable for me, certainly.
Speaking of moments, I'm glad you went there because, all week long, any show on this station, doesn't really matter what it is, has talked about what moment they look back on in the season. Like, for you, was there a specific moment where you knew, like, hey, this team can win it all?
Probably when Zach Root got chased out of their first game in the first inning. That was surprising to me. I was like, okay, because I thought LSU was going to probably lose their first game to Alabama or Arkansas and have to battle their way back through the losers bracket. So when they kind of got fortunate, I guess, or created their own fortune in that one, that's when I really felt like they were going to win. But again, probably bigger picture. About 2 weeks ago, left in the regular season, I was talking to Jay Johnson just on the side, and I was like, look, if you get Cooper Williams and maybe Stephen Milam's bat, if you get Cooper Williams up and running and he's a viable option for you guys out of the pen, and you get Stephen Milam's bat going, you're going to be a dangerous team. And like, he agreed. He's like, they just needed a couple of pieces. And that's typically what you see in the postseason, somebody step up, right? About Zach Cowan, right? Like, I don't know that LSU wins without Zach Cowan's performance. And I can't honestly say I saw that coming, right? So you just get those little bit of magic in a bottle, lightning in a bottle, whatever you want to call it, at the right time. And you get these kind of performances that springboard you into a championship series against Coastal, where I really thought LSU had the better talent. And over a 3-game series, you were going to see that play out. So, there's just little things along the way, but not one moment, right? Because like I said, this team was so special. They all had a moment, and it was at different times. So just really cool. But yeah, once they got past Arkansas and out of their bracket, I figured that was it. They're gonna win it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of 2023, Michael. Like, you played Wake Forest. You had to beat them twice. You were in the winners bracket this time. But like, everybody kind of thought that should have been the national championship as well. Like, I'm with you. Like, when Luis Hernandez, I talked about this earlier, when he tied the game at 5 in the 9th inning, my only thought was, okay, is LSU going to win this in the 9th, or are they going to have to go to extra innings? Like, I knew the Tigers were winning it. Like, that Dave Van Horn team, like, once again, they collapsed. But, like, to your point, like, after that, like, at least in my opinion, I don't know how you felt. Like, I was like, okay, the Tigers are going to get this done in 2.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a feeling around championship teams, and like, I know aura is a popular word with kids these days, but like, there's an aura to a championship team that you feel like it's predetermined almost, that the teams are going to dictate the terms. I remember in the 2000 World Series game, we were taking bets on who was going to be the one that sealed the victory for LSU, and this was before anybody got up to bat. Like, we just knew they were going to do it. I don't remember who I had. I don't think I had Brad Cressy doing it, but it was, you just feel it, right? Like it's coming, and this team had a lot of that. And I was going to say this, it was funny that, like, after they won it, it almost didn't feel like the national championship game, because it kind of felt like every other game they'd played. It was just like, they're gonna have their moments. They're gonna have to hold off some late game drama, and they're gonna come out victorious. And that is a lot of like what the recipe for this LSU baseball team was.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ, joining us right now. Mike, before we get you out of here, look, obviously 2 national championships in a 3-year stretch for Jay Johnson, and you hear it all the time, regardless of what sport. Oh, he came in, he did nice things, but he won with another coach's players. Like Cruz is here, Morgan's here. You kind of heard it a little bit leading into this. Now that he's won another one and done it in kind of a different way, like, what does this do for Jay Johnson's legacy?
Well, I don't think you're going to have anybody on the internet calling him Coach O anymore. So that's for sure. No, I mean, I think they're poised, right? I think they're poised for a couple more at least with Jay. As long as LSU continues to fund its baseball program at a level that he feels is necessary, I think you're going to have a lot of success. Now, there's going to be other teams that jump up and win national titles. Like, baseball is a weird sport, and that happens sometimes, right? And they're going to have to do a good job of reloading this roster like they had to do in 2024, right? And you saw them get bounced in a regional. So, but again, I think he is as committed as Nick Saban is to all of the details that go into winning your sport, like the minutia of it all. He is that focused, laser focused on it. The difference is he can be a normal person. He's not just like a total jerk most of the time. So I really think he's got it in him to win multiple national titles, and I think this is playing out a lot like Saban. Like, if Saban never left LSU, I think he would have won all those titles at LSU instead of Alabama. But the difference being, I don't know that Jay Johnson wants to go try his hand in Major League Baseball. I don't know that he's going to go to another school unless LSU, kind of drops the ball and doesn't fund the NIL efforts that he needs to be as active in the portal as he is. And you can talk about buying a team, but hey, guess what, man? If you win the national title, nobody gives a crap about any of that. They're just so excited that you've done it, and the guys on the team are excited that they've done it, and it kind of feeds itself. I feel like that's kind of where this thing is.
All right, Michael, I know you're busy today. You're all around. I'll let you get out of here, but thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. I'm up in Natchitoches right now, and they've got a lot of LSU ties going in this year. Obviously, Saban's going in, Whitworth's going in, Herb Vincent, some guys behind the scenes locally in Baton Rouge, Dale Weiner's going in. So I'm going to have some of that for you guys tonight at 6 and 10 o'clock on WBRZ. But I think, again, we're all super excited about LSU baseball, but there's some cool stuff going on up here as well that people probably need to dial into.
Yeah, thanks for the update there. That's Michael Cobble, WBRZ. Thanks for hopping on. All right, that was Cobble right there with WBRZ up there at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. Nick Saban getting inducted today as well. So Cobble was supposed to be on at 3:15. He texted me earlier today, hey, got to run up here. So we pushed it back at 4:30. All right, look, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, we're going to do a little Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 here on After Further Review.
After Further Review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can follow him on all the social medias. I love it. Squirrel Burrell is back rocking with the G team. Elite LSU sprinter. Made the announcement. It's on social media. You can see the photos on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or all the spots. Gordon's done an awesome job with the G team, giving great NIL opportunities to athletes, not just Tigers, but so many athletes across the state of Louisiana, both the revenue sports, the Olympic sports, all of it. You can learn more about all the members of the G team by going to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, and love telling you about all the content that they do as well. Gordon sit down with members of the LSU Baseball team recently. Kim Mulkey. The Garage is the podcast studio there at Gordon's office, so you want to see all that, you can catch it on YouTube or any of their social medias. Whatever you do, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association and Parish Construction Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers. Call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based, We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com. Parishbuilt.com.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 2 here on a Thursday edition of After Further Review. And right now, Jacob Beck has Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All righty, first one. We got a lot of MLB action, actually.
Makes sense.
Some games from yesterday. The New York Yankees took on the Cincinnati Reds. DJ LeMahieu just 1 for 5. He did score a run, though. Yankees got the win 7-1 in that one. And then we've got the White Sox and the Diamondbacks. Grant Taylor had a nice little 2 innings of work there. Got the hold, 1 hit, 1 run unearned, and 1 strikeout. The White Sox won that one 7-3 over the Diamondbacks.
Man, I wish he would have came back another year. Like, I get it. Like,
yeah,
he was ready to go, but he was so good as a freshman in relief. Gets hurt right before the season starts. He was in line to, like, possibly be your Friday night starter that year, and then he moves on. Like, for selfish reasons, I wanted to see him be a starting pitcher in the box just 1 year.
Yeah, of course. You know, always a lot of unknowns, a lot of could-have-beens with some of the guys at LSU that end up getting drafted. But moving on here, the Tampa Bay Rays took on the Kansas City Royals, and Paul Gervais got a little bit more work at his major league level. Of course, he had a nice debut a couple of days ago, but he went just got 1 out, got 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, no strikeouts, no walks. So not too long of an outing for Paul, but he got out of there unscathed, so keeps that 0 ERA for him. The Rays did win that one 4-0 over the Royals. And then Kevin Gausman, he's been scuffling a little bit, especially in June. He has really struggled in June, actually. Had a 7.65 ERA in June, but really good today. He went 8 innings, just 2 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. In a winning effort. The Blue Jays won that one 6-0 over the Guardians. So nice little bounce back start for Goss right there. And that is it for Tigers and the pros. Not any other guys. A lot of guys hurt right now, actually.
Yeah, Beck, like, no, you're missing a ton of guys. Like, like Alex Bregman plays with the Major Leagues. What about him?
No, he's hurt.
What happened to him?
He's hurt. I actually don't know what it was. I'm going to say it was a knee, maybe, or not sure, but he's been on the IL for about a month now.
Okay, what about De La Cruz? He's got to be back, right?
No, he's on the IL as well, actually. He's been on the IL for about a month now as well. Not good.
Okay, well, there's Jake Fraley. Jake Fraley plays in the major leagues.
Nope, he's not. He's not playing. Nope.
What you mentioned Kevin Gausman? What about Aaron Nola?
Nope, he's hurt as well.
What happened to him?
These guys are just getting hurt. I don't know what it is. It's just for some reason LSU, a lot of LSU guys. I don't know what's going on. But for some reason they're all getting hurt at the wrong time, and so it kind of leaves us with not a lot here for Tigers and the pros. But
all those guys are hurt.
Yeah,
we just mentioned more guys that are hurt than actually played in a baseball game yesterday.
I'm pretty sure we did.
The LSU. Yeah. When's Skeens pitch again? Do we know that?
Well, he just pitched on Wednesday. So
let me guess.
It's going to be
the Pittsburgh Pirates lost.
No, they did. He did not pitch very well.
Oh wait, I didn't hear this.
He struggled a bit. He only went 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. In fact, he pitched against Jacob Mizorowski, who was committed to LSU in 2022. So he got the better of Paul in that one. So that's it.
All right. Well, let me know when Paul Skeens plays again. That's apparently the only bright spot right now because all these guys are hurt. I thought the New Orleans athletes were only the only ones that were perpetually hurt.
No.
Apparently, it's LSU Major League Baseball players as well. Okay, look, that's pretty much going to do it for hour number 2. I do want to mention real quick, this came out this morning. I'm sure Hunt Palmer mentioned this. College World Series champion, most outstanding player was obviously Cade Anderson. Well, he is now Baseball America's first ever National Pitcher of the Year. He won this award earlier this morning. If you remember, allowed 1 run, struck out 17 batters in 16 innings, including a complete game shutout in the College World Series. That's not bad. I talked about it on OTB earlier this week. I think Cade Anderson played himself into the number 1 pick in the Major League Draft. I truly believe that. I thought he was top 3 to 5 before that performance last Saturday night against Coastal Carolina. But after that performance, a complete game shutout, game 1 of the national championship. That's number 1 pick worthy in my book. But congratulations to Cade Anderson. He's most outstanding player for the College World Series, a national champion. Now his trophy case is filling up a little bit because he is now Baseball America's National Pitcher of the Year. Okay, that's going to do it for hour number 2. Coming up here in hour number 3, we're going to talk a little bit of New Orleans Saints. They have a very crowded running back room that I kind of want to break down a little bit. Then Andrew Lopez with the Pelicans is going to hop on with me. I'm going to kind of get his thoughts on the first round last night that a lot of people have a lot of thoughts on. And we're going to preview that 40th pick in the second round. That's all coming up. Also, thanks to Michael Cobble and Bryce Kuhn here in hour number 2, talking LSU recruiting and recapping the Tigers' trip to Omaha. Again, we got a jam-packed hour number 3 coming up. Stay tuned. We got Sports Center, then one more hour left with you here on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires at the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely
on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
The Bengals took a major step towards keeping the franchise in downtown Cincy. I'm Chris Smith. The Hamilton Commissioners approved the tentative framework for a $470 million agreement that will keep the Bengals in their current home of Paycor Stadium through at least 2036. On to the NBA, where the Mavericks took forward Cooper Flagg with the first pick of the 2025 NBA draft. And Chris Canty, host of ESPN Radio's Unsportsmanlike, says Dallas are now the biggest threat to the Thunder.
The Thunder have good size, but the Thunder aren't a great rebounding team. They are an outstanding defensive team. I think the Dallas Mavs are going to be one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball next season. But the biggest question is whether or not the Dallas Mavericks are going to disqualify themselves before Kyrie Irving comes back next season. But if they're in the postseason and Kyrie Irving is healthy, the Dallas Mavericks can give anybody a scare in the Western Conference.
Dallas will put first in the second round of the draft. Coverage begins 90 minutes right here on ESPN Radio, 8 East on ESPN. Shams also reporting that the Lakers are moving up in the second round of the draft tonight, acquiring the 45th pick from the Bulls for the 55th pick and cash.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, we offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options to cover your small business needs and more. Visit Progressive.com today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Welcome in. Taylor Sharp here with you. Hour number 3, Thursday edition of After Further Review. We got 1 hour to go. In for Matt Moscona, I'm Taylor Sharp. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Jacob Beck. Paul, whatever happened to your Braves O'Neal jersey that you used to hang up behind you when they would play your drop?
So that was actually a Yankees Paul O'Neill jersey.
Was it? It was a Yankees jersey. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, Bo said it was blocking all the equipment and getting it overheated.
Oh, whatever.
The shirt was getting. We're bringing.
Get
Do you still
outta
have
here.
it? You still have it?
I still have it. It's
Okay,
just at
we're
home.
bringing it back, Bo. Get out of here.
That's absurd.
Get out of here with that. No,
a
that's
jersey. It's like you pressed a jersey together. It's like a millimeter thick.
Right.
It's not even an
Well,
inch
was
thick.
it? It was also a T-shirt, wasn't it? Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. Yeah, it was.
Oh,
It was a T-shirt. It was a T-shirt jersey.
What are we talking
It wasn't
about?
even like a button-down baseball jersey.
Oh my!
I mean, it's paper thin.
Yeah, that's absurd.
Plus, there's no great way to actually hang it back there. I was just putting like cups on top of it. And
I mean,
got tired of doing that.
So like, I used to watch AFR. My last semester of college, I would come home on Fridays and watch it before I had to go do Sportsline right across the street. I remember seeing your jersey, and I'm like, oh, O'Neal jersey. Like that's cool. Yeah, hadn't seen that in years. Completely forgot about that. I don't know what brought that up. I was just thinking. I was like, I remember Paul used to have a jersey that he would hang up back there. So, Beck, you'll love this. My obviously playing off the last name, my drop is Sharp Dressed Man, right?
Yes.
That was what me and Victoria walked into during the wedding. So, like, the ceremony's already happened, and it's
Very
like, for
on
the
the
very
nose.
first time, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor Sharp, we walked in with that. Like, looking back on it, a lot more centered towards me than it was her.
Yeah.
However, my only job at that wedding, pick the music. I was told, pick the music, whatever you want it to be. I did. We had a string quartet. I got them to play Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Awesome
that's
as well.
Perfect.
Awesome as well. But no, love the drops. Glad you went with Beck though. Like I had never heard your drop till today. I don't think we've ever actually done the show together.
Yeah, I think I was trying to. I don't remember if I actually came out with. I think it was a pretty obvious choice. And Matt was like, yeah, just choose a Beck song. I'm like, all right, that'll work. So it was pretty easy for me.
All right, moving back into sports for a little bit. Look, we got 1 hour to go here on a Thursday AFR. Right now, I want to talk a little New Orleans Saints. Our guy Ross Jackson at LouisianaSports.net put out a pretty interesting article, about some of the underdogs at training camp, some of the undrafted guys, and he kind of highlighted Marcus Yarns. So, he mentioned that Yarns is an undrafted free agent out of Delaware. You've probably read the write-up on him by now, right? 5'10", around 195 pounds. Had a really good career with the Blue Hens over there at Delaware. And, Ross mentions, hey, he's a great practice squad option. That could be a win for both him and the Saints. There's potential Yarns could be more than just a practice squad option. Now, a few things are going to have to happen. Like, there's some veterans in front of him. Because, when you look at what Marcus Yarns did, he ranked top 10 in FCS yards after contact per carry last year, 4.2 yards after contact. He was also tied second in the nation in yards per route run with 2.12. He's versatile. He can do a little bit of everything. He's got the size. He hovers around 200 pounds. And he was really productive with Delaware. I mean, I mentioned the yards per carry and all that, but here's what he did last year. 844 rushing yards, 6 touchdowns on 130 carries. He had 300 yards receiving, another 5 touchdowns through the air. So he accumulated 1,100 yards, 126.8 yards per game rushing and receiving. That's incredible. In 2023, he was actually even better. 939 yards rushing, 15 rushing touchdowns. Another 311 through the air. 3 receiving touchdowns. This is the definition of an all-purpose back. I mean, he had almost 3,000 all-purpose yards 2023 and 2024 combined. The biggest issue right now for a guy like Marcus Yarns, you all of a sudden have a lot of bodies in New Orleans at the running back position. Obviously, Alvin Kamara is going to be your starter. And, the thing you've been wondering really the last year or so is what happens if Kamara goes down? What's behind Alvin Kamara? All of a sudden, you have a lot of bodies. Look, you still have Kendre Miller here. We know that. You spent a high draft pick on him a few years ago. He's been out of the lineup because of injuries, and, there's been a few other things that's kind of hindered his ability. You have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who you signed about the midway point last year. You brought him back, and you drafted Devin Neal in the 6th round, who, in my opinion, is one of the steals of the draft out of Kansas. He's the all-time leading rusher in Jayhawks history. I mean, he was a 4-year starter for them at running back. Devin Neal can play. I think Devin Neal no doubt makes this team. He's a rookie. He's young. It was a steal in the 6th round. By all accounts, Devin Neal is going to make this team. And you have Alvin Kamara as your starter. There's no question about that. So I think Clyde, Kendre, Cam Akers will battle for those veteran spots. The question is, how many running backs do you keep? I think it's 3, meaning Clyde, Kendre, Cam, if Devin Neal makes it, are all battling for one spot with a Marcus Yarns. But if they keep 4, there's a chance that one of those veterans and a guy like Yarns makes the team. Here's why. Edwards-Helaire, Miller, Akers. They're good, but they all kind of have their own issues. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 1st-round pick back in 2020 out of LSU. We all know about Clyde. The thing about Clyde is his rushing numbers have dropped all 5 years he's been in the league, and his yards per carry have dropped all 5 years in the league. 4.4, 4.3 2 years in a row. Last year, all the way down to 3.5. His best year was his rookie season. 803 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Clyde's a solid player. We know he can catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield. We saw that in Baton Rouge for a number of years. Then you look at Kendre Miller. I mean, he's the most experienced as far as being in the Saints facility. He's been there 2 full seasons, but in 2 years, Kendre Miller, who you spent a 3rd-round pick on, 304 yards rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns, averaging 3.8 yards per carry. That's all you've got out of Kendre Miller. Now he's been injured. Can he stay healthy? Can he come around? He was a really good prospect out of TCU. There were a lot of teams that really wanted him in the NFL draft. I had high expectations for him when New Orleans picked him up. For whatever reason, he has not been able to reach those. And then you have Cam Akers, Cam Akers is a really good running back when fully healthy. But that's the thing, when fully healthy. So in 2020, He goes on that run with the Rams. He's instrumental in their Super Bowl run. 625 yards rushing. He has a few touchdowns. He was big in the playoffs. Then in 2021, right before the season starts, he tears his Achilles in his right foot. Out for the entire year. Comes back in 22, and he's okay. I mean, he totaled, I don't know, almost 400 yards rushing. 9 rushing touchdowns. Like, he wasn't bad. Then you go into 2023. What happened? He tears his left Achilles. Now, he was able to come back in 24, play for 2 teams. He played for the Texans and then the Minnesota Vikings. Between those two, ran for about 500 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, like, he's a productive, solid running back when healthy. The problem is he's torn his Achilles in both feet, his right and left. But the good news is he's almost 2 years removed from the most recent Achilles injury. If Cam Akers could stay healthy, he could really make an impact for you on this football team. But Clyde's production's dropped every year he's been in the league. Kendre Miller's in and out of the lineup. Can't really seem to find a place here in New Orleans. And Cam Akers has 2 Achilles injuries that he's coming off of. Again, he's played since then, but the injury concerns are always going to be there with a guy like Cam Akers when you have 2 serious injuries like that in a 3-year span. What else is going to help Marcus Yarns is he's an undrafted guy. You always hear the chip on your shoulder mentality, right? Like, he's going to be hungry to make this team. We know he can catch the ball out of the backfield. We know he's a pretty good runner as well. I just broke down the numbers. How willing of a blocker is he? Because Kamara's not blocking a ton. Devin Neal's a rookie. We don't really know what he's going to do yet. Kendre Miller's never really been in there as a blocker. Like, if Marcus Yarns could become a good pass blocker, there's a potential role for him on the team. How about special teams? Because Kamara's not playing special teams. With Cam Akers' injury history, if he makes the team, I doubt he plays special teams. Clyde could maybe a little, but I don't think he plays a ton of special teams, and we don't really know about Kendre Miller. There are 2 spots, pass blocking and playing special teams, where Marcus Yarns could actually make the active roster. Now, again, I will say I think he's got a long ways to go because Kamara has RB1 locked down. Then you have 4 guys who are right now, I would say, are all ahead of you. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kendre Miller, Cam Akers, Devin Neal. Neal's the freshman, or the rookie, I should say. And then CEH, Kendre, and Cam have all had injury issues. They all have their own problems. Marcus Yarns comes in as that undrafted rookie. Can he make this team? It'll be an interesting story to follow as preseason goes along and we enter the 2025 regular season. All right, we're going to take a quick time out. When we get back, we're breaking down more, and then we'll have Andrew Lopez at 5:30 recapping the Pelicans draft. That's coming up next here on After Further Review.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is en fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1. is the Rock Station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 here on a Thursday edition of AFR. We are rolling right along here on this Thursday. We just have a few more segments to go. Guys, we're trying to get through it. It has been a long day, and guess what? Tomorrow's going to be even longer because we're doing the 6 to 6 all over again tomorrow. I am in for Matt, obviously today, and then tomorrow and Monday as well. But we are rocking and rolling. Look, we're going to have Andrew Lopez on next. We're going to kind of get an inside look at the Saints' first 2 draft picks in the first round. Obviously, 7 overall, Jeremiah Fears, and they trade up to 13 to take the Maryland big man, Derek Queen. But, I was thinking during break, like, okay, what else do the Pelicans need as far as tonight? They have the 40th pick in the second round, and I think they need shooters. We were talking about it to start the show when we were breaking down the 2 draft picks. I love the Jeremiah Fears pick. I think he's your starting point guard from day one. He knows how to get to the basket. He knows how to score. Not a great shooter. Derek Queen, big body, 6'10", 245. Pretty polished offensive player overall, except from 3. He shot 20% last year at Maryland. Not a ton of shooting on this team. if you want to do the point Zion that had been so successful in the past, you're going to need shooters around him. Now, Trey Murphy's a pretty good three-point shooter. Herb Jones has come on as of late. He's a lot better now than he was when he first got to New Orleans. And then Jordan Hawkins, you want him to be that electric three-point shooter, but he's just kind of been inconsistent. He's been in and out of the lineup. If you want to add shooting, like, tonight's the night to do it. This guy here, this is a guy that I actually thought was going to go in round one. Rasheer Fleming, the 6'9 forward out of St. Joseph's. He's a guy that can play the three. He can play the four. But he also shot almost 35% from three last year. Not bad to go along with 14.5 points, 8.5 rebounds. Rasheer Fleming is a heck of a basketball player. And I think the Pelicans would be lucky to have him. Like, if I'm New Orleans and Rasheer Fleming is there at 40, I turn in the card as quickly as I can and I take it. But you got to wait about 10 picks or so before you're up again tonight. So let's say he's off the board. You got Tyrese Proctor still out there out of Duke. 6'5 guard. He can play on the wing. He was electric at Duke last year. Like, I get it. Like, Con Knipple goes 4 overall. Cooper Flagg goes 1 overall. Those are the two that are making the headlines. There were times last year where Tyrese Proctor took over games for the Duke Blue Devils. He's still out there. Now, he shot just 12.5 points per game last year, but 40% from three. That's a guy that I would take on my team any day. They did struggle at the free throw line, actually, only 68% from the foul line. But how about 40% free throw three-point shooter that you could get in the second round? That's value all day long that I'm taking. What about Jameer Watkins? Jameer Watkins, look, he's originally at VCU. He played the last 2 years at Florida State. He's a guy that's been a little bit under the radar. He's 6'7". He can play that 3 for you again. He can be a big 2 guard if you need him to. 18.4 points a game last year for the Seminoles. He had 6 rebounds a game, and he shot about 33% from 3. Not great, but not bad for a 6'7 wing. You need guys that can score the basketball. 18.4 points per game will do it. Now, the last guy that I'm going to mention, he is not by any means a three-point shooter, but Janai Broome from Auburn is still sitting on the board right now. We know how good Janai Broome was a year ago. I mean, he carried Auburn at times, and for a large majority of the year, they looked like the best team in the SEC until Florida went on that late run. Janai Broome, almost 19 points per game. He was a unanimous All-American across the board. 10.8 rebounds. Not a great three-point shooter, but again, that's not the role Janai Broome would play. This is a guy who's 6'9", who's 6'10", that can actually play some defense for you. Because again, we talked about it in the opening of the show. You need three-point shooters, and you need some defense. I think Janai Broome can supply that defense for you. 2.1 blocks per game last season. In his 4-year college career, he's averaging 2.5 blocks a game at 6'10", and a guy who's pretty polished offensively. Not a great ball handler, not a great three-point shooter, but that's not his role. Like, you drafted Derek Queen, and a lot of people are saying, well, I don't hate the player, I hate the pick, and I get that, but, like, part of the reason I wasn't crazy about the Derek Queen pick, like, Janai Broome's out there. That's a guy you could have waited on. I mean, obviously, he's still available. And I'm not saying Janai Broome's going to be an all-star or anything like that, but, like, could he be Udonis Haslem? Could he be just a solid guy coming off the bench that plays 10 years in this league? Why not? Guy that's played a lot of basketball. Played 168 games in his college career between Morehead State and Auburn. 5 years of college basketball. Janai Broome can play. Now, he did have some injuries a year ago, but when fully healthy, Janai Broome can play with the best of them. Like, Beck, if you're looking in round 2, it didn't even have to be specific player. Where do the Pelicans need to go?
Well, I would like to see them maybe go try to find a shooter because, look, Jordan Hawkins just it hasn't worked, man. He's on the team to shoot threes. That's what he's there to do, and hopefully you can have a guy that is one of those 3-and-D guys, which the NBA covets so much, and he hasn't shot the three well, and he's not really much of a defender. So he's not really been providing much. Of course, like you said at the beginning of the show, he is still young, so he's still got some time to continue to develop. But so far, the returns have been pretty negative for Jordan Hawkins. So I wouldn't be opposed to them going out and getting a guy to maybe challenge him, and try to say, look, we're bringing in a guy, and it's going to be a battle for which one of you guys is going to be in that second unit and is going to be the guy that we're looking to shoot, maybe 4 or 5 threes a game. So I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, I agree. And, a lot of people after you pick Jeremiah Fears were like, oh, I wanted him to go big man. But they do that with their second pick.
Yeah.
But it's funny, last night when you're watching the broadcast on TV, all the ESPN analysts are up there, and they do strengths and weaknesses for every team. Biggest need with New Orleans Pelicans was perimeter defense and rebounding. You got the rebounding down a little bit. We'll see how Derek Queen adapts to the NBA life. There's obviously a question about his conditioning and his motor, but he didn't really get better on defense, especially not on the perimeter. Jeremiah Fears is a solid defensive player. He's fine. He's not going to be a liability out there, but you mentioned, a 3-and-D guy, a guy on the wing, or a guy like Janai Broome who's really good at defense, but he's just more on the perimeter. Tyrese Proctor's not a bad defender. He's a 40% three-point shooter at 6'5". He's still on the board. Rasheer Fleming's one of the best athletes in this draft. He doesn't play at St. Joseph's. If he plays at Florida or Kentucky, he's already well off the board. He's a first-round pick. He's that kind of talent. I actually think tonight, the Pelicans kind of have their pick of the litter at 40.
Yeah, I do too. And so it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what direction they go in. I would not expect them to go out and get another guard or point guard at least, or a center. I don't really see why you would need to do that. With getting Queen and Yves Missi was really good last year as a rookie, and he's really young too. I expect him to continue to grow into that role and be really solid there. And then other than that, yeah, I think you just got to try to build some more depth at the small forward, maybe shooting guard, a guy that a swingman type guy. So let's see if they go with that. I think they should, but you never know. They may just take best available at that point because it is a little bit later in the second round.
Yeah, it is. But to your point, no, don't go backcourt unless it's a Proctor who you're just going to stand there and shoot a three. Yeah. You have Jordan Poole, who you're getting on this team. Sadiq Bey is more of a 3, but he can play the 2 if you need to. You'll have DeJounte Murray at some point. That's way down the road, but he is currently on your roster. You have Jordan Hawkins. You just drafted Jeremiah Fears. You still have Jose Alvarado. That's 5 guys that I just listed right there that can give you minutes. Trey Murphy can be a guard if you need him to be. You're good there. Yves Missi was really good a year ago. You just drafted Derek Queen. You're kind of good on both ends, right? You're good in the backcourt. You're good down low. Can you fill in the middle? That'll be the big question for the Pelicans tonight as they make their final pick. Speaking of, we're going to recap the first round. We got Andrew Lopez coming up next. That's coming up here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries. Maintenance managers, turnaround coordinators, looking to hire someone to come do work in your plant, in your refinery. You get that proposal across your desk from Action Industries, make sure you take a long, hard look. Because my friends over at Action Industries are just awesome. They're awesome people, and they're a great local business that's been serving our community since 1982. So 42 years. Listen, there are some enormous industrial contractors. They're great companies, great businesses. But do you ever feel like your 100-person job isn't the most important thing to that mega company, that mega contractor? Well, with Action Industries, you would be their number one priority. You are getting all of their best people. And Action Industries, their safety record beats the industry standard. And look, the quality of their work is why they keep getting hired time and time again for into 5 decades now. It's Action Industries. Check them out online. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild? You can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac? You can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
All right, welcome back in. A Thursday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona. We go out to the phone lines right now. New Orleans Pelicans sideline reporter Andrew Lopez joining us right now. Andrew, how are you?
I'm good, man. I am kind of wishing we got all of this done last night, but hey, we got another round of the draft to go today. Two new guys to talk about. We don't have to talk about mock drafts anymore. We can talk about actual human beings that play basketball. So
that's right. We got the real thing going on now. Okay, so you kind of mentioned it a little bit there. 2 picks for the Pels last night, 7 and 23. We'll get to 23 a little bit later because there was obviously movement there. But at 7 overall, they take Jeremiah Fears, the guard out of Oklahoma. What are your thoughts on that pick and maybe that fit in New Orleans?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because if you'd asked me 2 weeks ago where I thought they were going to go with the pick, I would have told you Fears. That's kind of where it felt like it was going. He had come in for a visit, and things were kind of trending that way. And then every mock, everything you heard was Jeremiah Fears was going to go to the Utah Jazz at 5, and then that was going to change what the Pelicans were going to have to do Obviously, it's 7. And then as it played out on draft night, even kind of going into it, if you're a look at the odds kind of person, the odds were not trending that way. They were not trending for Jeremiah Fears. And all of a sudden, Ace Bailey gets picked by the Utah Jazz, and it's, oh, okay, now we got some stuff kind of going. So you go ahead, you get Jeremiah Fears, who, like Cooper Flagg, should not really have been in this draft if we're going by his original birthday. He was a kid who will not turn 19. He'll be 18 when training camp starts. Won't turn 19 until mid-October. Is just kind of in like Cooper Flagg in that sense. So you look at what he was able to do at Oklahoma in the SEC this year: 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. He was doing all that when he should have been a high school senior. So that kind of gives me a little bit of, he could really be something because of what he was doing at a year that he really wasn't supposed to be in the SEC. So you look at that, you see that, he's got the ability to get to the rim. He had, I think it was 5 or 6 games last year where he had double-digit free throw attempts, shot 85% from the line. So I know there's a lot of fans out there. You look at his counting stats and you see, the 28% three-point percentage. I'm okay with that because I think I see the 85% free throw percentage. And usually if you're a high free throw guy, those will average out a little bit. I mean, that three-pointer will come up. He was taking a lot of bad threes, I think, this year. A lot of late shot clock things, just trying to put something up. But overall, I think he's a guy who can get to the rim. And when you heard Joe Dumars talk last night about this pick, it was about getting guys who can attack the rim. And even at his, he's 6'4", you probably want to put on a little bit of weight once he gets to the NBA, which I think all guys really kind of do. But he's a guy that can get to the rim, and I think that's something that can help your offense.
As far as, because you just mentioned his age, right? And that's certainly been a big talking point. I mean, he's young, but so what does a successful rookie season look like for a guy like Fears? Like, is he going to come in and start on this team pretty early?
It's going to be up for grabs because you're going to obviously not have DeJounte Murray for probably, maybe until January or February. Yeah. We'll see when he's be able to work his way back. Obviously, there are the reports out there of a trade there that is bringing in another guard, and that's going to be finalized at a later date. There's another guy coming in here who could play some one if you need him to, but that guy can also be your sixth man, and Fears can start. I think you want to see him, earn his way into getting at least 20 minutes a game. And I think if he can go ahead and do that, he probably can put himself in a discussion for, being on an all-rookie team. But, being number 7 overall doesn't necessarily mean that that's guaranteed to you. We just saw the all-rookie team last year. I mean, Eve Meese made the all-rookie team last year, but he was the 21st pick, and you went into training camp. I thought he was going to be on the 3rd team. We thought he was going to be in Birmingham the way training camp started. So Jeremiah's got this kind of sense that he can kind of work his way in and kind of, I think once you kind of hone in your shot profile, he's going to get some more open looks. He's going to get some things that are a little bit different. We'll see what exactly he's going to be able to do.
Moving on to the second first-round pick of last night's draft, which is the one that everyone's talking about, right? Like, you would forget that the Pelicans even picked 7 overall the way this thing played out. So they had 23. They trade up to 13, and they give away 23 this year and your unprotected first round for next year, and they're grabbing Maryland big Derek Queen. First off, thoughts on the player, and then more importantly, thoughts on the move and what they gave up.
Yeah, you're right. There are probably a lot of people out there who kind of forgot that also you got Jeremiah Fears, who was a top 5 guy in most mocks. He's also a guy, you got 2 guys who I think there were lists or big boards, if you will, that had both of these guys in the top 5, and there were lists that had both of these guys in the teams. So that's probably why usually if you're the Pelicans and you're thinking you're walking away with 2 top 5, 2 top 7 talents in this draft, you feel very good about it. But if you're somebody if your big board had Jeremiah Fears at 12 and Derek Queen at 14, you don't feel as good about it. So but let's talk about Derek Queen and what he's able to bring. A big body, probably the best offensive big in this draft, and the things that he's able to do. I think everybody kind of maybe remembers his the game winner that he had against Colorado State in the NCAA tournament. He had a great quote about last night about what are you going to remember more, the game winner or being drafted. And he said being drafted. He goes, because I'm gonna hit another game winner.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, I like this guy. And I think the trade itself is probably skewing, I think, a little, even some Pels fans' perception of him, because they're thinking about all this other stuff with him. Where I think he's a guy who he's going to be a guy you're going to kind of fall in love with as a Pels fan. He's going to be able to go out there. He's going to be able to score. Most of these guys in the draft are still kind of learning how they're going to be on the defensive end, where they're going to kind of figure out what they're going to be able to do. So, to me, I think it's an intriguing pick. I think he also kind of figures in now with how do you play him with Zion? How do you play him with Yves Missi? How do you play him with Karlo Makovic? It's all of these different guys trying to figure their way out and trying to figure how is all this going to work. I think it all does kind of work. And if you're buying in on it, you're getting two guys who are kind of, top guys in this draft. Now, as for the trade itself, yes, you gave up the more favorable of your pick or Milwaukee's pick. You had a pick swap with Milwaukee next year, so it's two chances to be higher in that draft, and that is now unprotected. But as Joe Dumars said last night, the only way he knows how to be successful in this league is to be aggressive, and there's no doubt that was an aggressive move to go and get your guy. But if you believe in Derek Queen and you do believe he was a top 5 guy in this draft, you also probably believe in your guys. This is still a team who we are, a year removed from them winning 49 games. Now, health is just a big thing. It is, yes, you did win 21 games last year, but Yves Missi led you in minutes played. Again, a guy who, when we were in in Nashville last year for training camp, started out on the third team, and everybody thought he was going to spend so much time in Birmingham. He ends up leading your team in minutes. That kind of just tells you about all of the different injuries that you went through. Herb and Trey and Z and, everybody was dealing with something at some point. You get even half as healthy as you were last year, you're looking at being a team that can compete again. And I think, again, a team that just, 14 months ago was a 49-win team, you're banking a lot on that. There's still maybe some moves that can be made in terms of, bringing in a free agent or two. So I think you're looking at a lot of where you're hoping this team can be good. Now, on the flip side of that, you're also hoping that, Giannis probably stays with Milwaukee and doesn't do anything, but all signs point to that as well. But you're banking a lot on being good this year. And if I'm a Pels fan, I'm looking at that as, hey, I want my GM to think we're going to be good. I mean, tanking is not built for everybody, and I think he's making moves. Joe Dumars, Troy Weaver in the front office are making moves to basically say, hey, we think this team can go out and win some games. Let's go out and prove it.
Andrew Lopez, our guest right now. Andrew, before we get you out of here, all right, night 2 tonight, round number 2. What do you think happens?
Yeah, so right now, Pels will have the 40th pick as a part of that reported trade that had CJ and Kelly going out, Jordan Poole, Sadiq Bey coming in. As you kind of saw last night, the NBA is trying to change how they do some trades because the free agency happens after the draft, a lot of these trades can't be official till July 6th, which is the case there. So the reported trade gives you another shot tonight. You heard Joe Dumars talk last night about the toughness and finding guys who can contribute to winning. You saw that with both Fears and Derek Queen. Both of those guys led their guys to the NCAA tournament, their teams, I should say. There's probably 2 spots you could kind of look for. I think one, I'm still probably you still have a lot of wings, but I'm probably still looking for a 3-and-D type of guy. Defense would probably be high on my list tonight for either a 3-and-D guy or a big that can defend the rim. I think those are probably what you're hoping to get with that number 40 pick. And I think, you will hear the NBA tonight say, hey, this is a deal for the Pelicans as part of a larger trade. So defense is going to be kind of there, but it's whether it's a 3-and-D guy or a big, those are the two spots where I think they can go.
All right, Andrew, I know you're a busy guy the next couple days, but like, how you taking it in? You doing anything for the draft?
Went over there last night. We had a draft show that was on Gulf Coast Sports and Entertainment Network. Hung out over there, but tonight, second round, taking it a lot easier tonight. I'm gonna just kick back, watch it on the couch, and see what happens.
All right, sounds good. Much needed night off for our guy Andrew Lopez. Thanks for hopping on with us today.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We get back, we're closing this thing out. We got Jimmy I with Otterlocks coming up next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Bend Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalvr.com.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
All right, Taylor Sharp here with you. Final segment, Thursday edition of After Further Review. And right now it's time to find out what we're betting on. Let's bring in Jimmy Ott for some Otter Locks. Jimmy, how are you today?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. A little bit different filling in on this show. I'm on the morning show all the time, but look, everybody's on vacation this week, and no one told me about it. So we're hanging out here in studio. Before we get into tonight, you had 3 baseball plays yesterday, and you had some NBA draft predictions. How'd we do?
We swept the board in Major League Baseball, and we took it on the chin in the 2 NBA drafts. The 2 NBA drafts. So, it's funny, and so is Major League Baseball kind of taking off today. 1 game is all there is. And the theme the last couple of days has been the shutouts. 7 shutouts in Major League Baseball, 4 more this afternoon. It's a bunch of goose eggs, and we got another possible one right now, and that was our 3rd pick. We put out earlier today, since there were 8 of the 9 games were matinees, we put out the Twins, and they are shutting out Seattle right now, 2-0, looking to split a 4-game set. 1 game that we do have in Major League Baseball, the Mets hosting Atlanta Braves, Griffin Canning on the hill today for the Mets, and Grant Holmes for Atlanta. Mets have been in a funk a little bit, but they really snapped out of it last night. Taylor, I'm looking for the Mets to continue with the momentum that they built last night. -119 is available right now at DraftKings and the Queen Casino. So -119, and if you're looking to put a little single game parlay, let's go with Soto over for 2 or more. Total bases. So a walk, a single, a double, that's 2 either way. So that's +125 right now at DraftKings. And so if you take the money line -119, the over -8.5, it's going to pay +490 with Juan Soto, who's borderline booing him earlier this year, but he is on a tear as of late, and his overall season numbers are just fine. I think it's kind of important to keep the team that's really owned the NL East for such a long time, the Braves, at bay after kind of showing some signs that they make a little run. So the Mets, the money line, and then the Mets, Soto, 2 or more total bases, and the over 8.5, little money line parlay. Single game parlay at +490. And if you have to have some more action tonight, we've got the WNBA tonight, and boy, Caitlin Clark, after blistering the New York Liberty in her return, she has been in a little bit of a funk on the West Coast Strip. We're looking forward to bounce back tonight, -5.5, -110. That tips off at 6 o'clock. They're hosting the LA Sparks.
All right, take it to the bank. There's Jimmy out right there with Otter Locks. Jimmy, thanks for hopping on with us.
All right, guys. Good luck.
Thank you. That was our own Jimmy Ott. For what it's worth, he had the MLB 3-pack earlier today on our website. He had Athletics +137, Twins -125, Astros -150. And then again, you heard he swept the table on the Major League 3-pack from a day ago, but he had Kalkbrenner going in the first round. Well, Kalkbrenner is still on the board. And then he had Noah Esengue going in the top 10. Our guy Jimmy just missed it. Noah Asenge, 12th overall to the Chicago Bulls. So there's Jimmy out there for Otterlocks. All right, that's going to do it for a Thursday edition of After Further Review. I'm going to be back again tomorrow. Look, we got a lot more to break down. We'll have some LSU football. We'll have some Saints. We'll continue our baseball discussion. I know it's the offseason, but you know what? I had a heck of a lot of fun watching baseball this year. We'll talk a little bit of that as well. We'll have Zach Nagy on tomorrow talking some more LSU football recruiting, and Ross Jackson's going to hop on, give us an update on the black and gold out there in New Orleans. Thanks to Michael Cobble. Thanks to Bryce Kuhn. Thanks to Andrew Lopez for hopping on with me. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill. Guess what, guys? We're the only ones in the building, so all three of us back here, same time, same place tomorrow. We might be running on fumes, but you know what? We're going to be here, and we're going to have a good time. Also, reminder, major NBA draft starting at about 8 o'clock, so about 2 hours from now, New Orleans Pelicans, as of now, the 40th overall pick. We'll break that down tomorrow, see what they do with that pick, or do they just trade it away again? That's going to do it on a Thursday edition of AFR.
AFR.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.